Hello, my name is Charles, and today I'm going to make a wonderful video for you guys, for the whole world to enjoy on how to conquer anxiety. I know a lot of people in this generation, anxiety is they feel like it's like a normal part of life, that there's a lot of it. They got like school assignments and, work and relationships and all the responsibilities, and there's just so much they feel is piling up on them, and it's a lot for a lot of people. There's a lot of stressors, and I feel like it'd be helpful in today's time, especially when America's nutrition at times is lacking in a little quality. It's good to find ways to de-stress, keep yourself calm, keep yourself happy, and live that way. So let's get right into it. So I'm going to use for anxiety this color. This is anxiety. Anxiety. Now, when do we get anxiety? When do we get anxiety? Well, think to when you get anxiety on a normal thing. It's usually, right? So I'm going to draw the brain. Actually, this will be nice. This will be my version of like the brain. I am not an artist, but just bear in mind. Okay, so that's someone's head. Or let's do that a little better. This is someone, and that's their neck, and this is their head, and that's their brain. And out of your brain, you get like all these wonderful thoughts. Sometimes you get these purple loving thoughts or creative thoughts. Sometimes you get the pink loving feelings. Sometimes you get a little bit of irritation because someone's saying this, that, and the other, right? And you're like, that bothers me. And sometimes you get, the little depresso espresso. Sometimes you get the blues, all the things come out of this brain. But this color is the white color, or this color right here. This is the anxiety color. And why do we get this? How do we solve this one right here? How do we solve, which will end up solving a lot of them? Well, out of that same brain, let's draw that again. Out of that same brain, we want to get rid of the anxiety color. We want to get rid of, let's just draw the head. We want to get rid of this color. We want to get rid of this anxiety brain. So here's the anxiety brain, and that's what we don't want. How are we going to do it? Well, when does anxiety happen? So if you're getting all those kind of thoughts, right? You're getting all those daydreams, and they can be, this direction, or they can be that direction. Generally, anxiety is like, it's usually a future projection. In the long and the short of it, it's a future projection that your brain is making that is negative. It's like, oh, that's the undesired outcome. What if this happens? What if that happens? And I think a lot of people think, you got to outwork your anxiety. You got to strive really hard. You got to really force yourself to get rid of it. You got to put in all this effort. So we are going to do the opposite. We are going to put in no effort or very minimal effort. What is the least effort way to get rid of all this anxiety? Because everyone's thinking that you got to work so hard, like action defeats anxiety, like grounding, you got to work out a lot. And these are not to say that these are bad options or they don't help or these aren't viable methods. I'm just going to teach the method that is least effort, minimal effort. All that is required is understanding, is deeply understanding. And I don't mean understanding as in, yeah, like, someone's telling you something you're bored at, and you're like, yeah, and you're like typing on your phone, trying to text someone, yeah, right? You're not giving it your full attention. This would be proper understanding, full, like you're integrating it into yourself. And so, we're going to make a new one right here. We're going to make a new one, and we're not going to save that one. So let's say, right, you whip open your wonderful little calendar right here, and you got 3 things to do on your calendar, and they're in 3 days. And here you are. You're lying in your comfy bed. Let's say you got, nice silk, orange sheets. You're staying in your bed, right? It's like tiger printed. It's all wonderful. And you're lying in bed, and you're all comfy. And here you are 3 days from now right? 3 days from now, you are anxiously worrying and you're like, oh, I'm going to have work. I'm going to have this presentation. It's going to be so difficult. No. And you're all worried about a presentation. And if you looked around, if you were insane mind, if you think of the absurdity of that. There is something that is not currently happening. It's multiple days. It is 72 hours away from you, right? Meaning it is not presently in your experience. You couldn't even sleep that you wouldn't sleep and miss it. There'd be no way it is not affecting you in the current moment. It's not even there. It's actually what we call if you're being a realist, is called made up. It's made up. Made up. You made the scenario up. It is made up. It is not happening in reality. It's like, here this is the body, right? You can see it, you can feel it, you can taste it, you can touch it. And that's real. That's right there, right now, in that very moment. And you can experience it. This you can imagine, right? You can imagine this wonderful scenario or this terrible scenario, right? You can project into the future. And if you're going to project into the future, let me ask you this, right? If you're going to make something up, right? If you're going to make a movie, for example, let's say you're making a movie. Do you want if you're going to make up a movie and you're going to be starring in this movie, would you like the movie to be a wonderful action movie, successful, happy movie? Would you like it to be a miserable movie? Because essentially, if you're making it up, if that anxious thought that's 3 days away, and it could be a very real work call or, project that's due, but the fact that you are stressing about something that isn't currently affecting you, it's not here, it's not here, it's not here, it's nowhere to be found, and it's only in your head. You are stressing about something that is not currently existing, right? And if you're going to make that up, why wouldn't you? Ask yourself sincerely, why wouldn't I make up the best possible outcome for myself and the people around me and strive for that? Why wouldn't you think, instead of thinking, your brain's going and going and going, and it's it makes up this story of the worst possible outcome. Why wouldn't you lean into the best possible outcome for everyone involved? Everyone is happier and more enriched. And you're we think to ourselves, well, why wouldn't we? If that was the cure, Charles, why wouldn't I have done it already? Why wouldn't I, I hear you saying it, man. I get it. I hear everyone saying, well, if it was that simple, I would have done it already. I can't get these thoughts out of my head. And it's dude, let's imagine, right now. Let's imagine there's the whole night sky, right? All this darkness, all this terrible, 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 terrible darkness. You know what you'd have to do to get rid of it? Just that. You just turn on the lights. Ready? All this darkness, worry, fear, anxiety. Oh no. And you're thinking you have to fight against it. You got to really, I got to work out harder. I got to work harder. I got to really show, I really got to prove it to myself that I don't need to be anxious. Or, what you could do? You just turn on the lights, and the lights of reality and love show that you're just making it up. So why don't you just make up the best possible outcome? It's not happening there currently. That is the deep understanding you get. You're wait just a minute. All I got to do is breathe. I don't need to, as one of my great friends says, squeezy beef, right? You don't need to rush things. You can just be hey, take a deep breath. What is there to worry about? It's not even happening right now. It's not even real. I'm worrying about something that's not real. And then what you can do is you can go back to your brain, your beautiful, wonderful, brilliant brain for whoever's watching this. And you can be you know what? Why don't I dream up? Why don't I envision the best possible thing? Why don't I love myself a little bit? Why don't I love the people around me and be hey, I could imagine the greatest possible outcome and strive for that. I could strive for the greatest possible outcome. And then you know what you do from there? You know what you do? You just walk in that direction. You don't have to, you don't have to, you just walk in that direction. What's the first simple thing I can do to make the best possible outcome happen? Well, isn't that a lot better? Doesn't that feel a lot nicer? You may think to yourself, well, how am I supposed to get to this, big, whoa, there's a big dream I got for the best possible outcome. All you're doing, you remember, always return to that reality. If you're walking, where's the first step? It's right there. So where are you in reality? Right here. Second step, where are you in reality? Your mind gets anxious. Oh, return to reality. You're right here. You're on the second step to making your life a beauty. Third step, boom. And so all you're doing is you're walking in the beautiful reality. You're just walking in the beautiful reality that you want to create, So instead of thinking, future projecting so far with like humans, right? Compare them to baboons, chimps, compare them to elephants, rhinoceros. It's like, what advantage do we got? What makes a human a human? Not only the soul and being crafted in a beautiful image, but like if you're just looking around, right? What makes humans? What do we got going on for us? And we got a beautiful, magnificent heart and brain where we can imagine we can imagine 10, 20, 30 years down the road. We can envision things that, computers can't even visualize yet. Like we got huge, cognitive capacity. And all you're doing, guys, to get out of that anxiety is all you got to do is just walk in the right direction. Walk in reality. You see your anxious thoughts? They're over there. And you don't care about these. You don't need those anxious thoughts. You don't need this anxious color. All you need is that green goodness. Just walk in that reality, that love, and you're good to go. I know some people, right, to summarize this, some people might be quite confused. They might be like, what does he mean? How am I supposed to do that? What does that actually look like? Right now, if you're having like an anxious thought or you're going through it, here's what it kind of look like, right? Let's say your anxious thought is like, oh, I'm really worried about someone's not going to show up on time, right? You're really worried about like, when are they going to show up? Well, the first, then you're like, okay, well, that's not happening right now. You don't know when they're going to show up. Like first you cement in reality. You're like, okay, I'm worried. Like, let's say you're throwing a party or you're throwing a party. You're about to go on a date. You're about to see, a big businessman and you're going to give a pitch or something. And you're like, I don't know when they're going to show up. I'm so nervous. It's like, if you're going through that, well, where are you right now? In reality, this very moment. Look around and you're right here. There's nothing that whatever that worry is of like, what's going to happen? It's not happening right now. So, okay, I'm here right now, right? Okay, I'm here, I'm breathing. There's in reality, there's no issue going on. So then I'm like, okay, well, what should I do from there? Like, what can I do to make the best possible outcome? And then if I was in that, let's say, situation where I'm like, I'm throwing a party or something, or I'm having a date, it's like, okay, well, if I wanted it to go the best possible way for everyone, maybe I could, just reach out to someone, see when they're coming. Maybe I could prepare. Maybe I don't even have to worry. I could just trust them. I could be like, okay, I could trust them. I like to be. I could trust. Start, preparing the party, preparing the date. You could think to yourself, okay, well, after I've done some preparing, well, now I can relax, right? They'll show up when they show up. I can relax, and you can be here now the whole time, because as long as you center yourself in this moment, in the present moment, you realize that anxiety thing, that big fear of like, oh no, like what's going to happen? You're not here. You're not in reality. You're not in the moment. And then all you have to do is return to the present moment and go straight back to that path of like, I'm going to make the best possible outcome happen. You may not be able to control all the myriad number of factors in life, but that doesn't mean that doesn't mean you have to be anxious, because you can be in reality, in the moment, working towards the best possible outcome for everybody. What more could you really want? That sounds like that's like the best possible experience. You're present, you're calm, you're happy, and you're making the best possible outcome for everybody. I don't there could there's like no issue with that. And so that is my advice to people, and that is like I'm glad I worked through like a solution for you guys. So if anyone's struggling with anxiety, that works for me. Just grounding myself in the here and now. If it takes deep breathing, if it takes whatever it takes, right? Just whatever it may take. If it takes deep breathing, then deep breathe. But all that matters is that all that matters is that you just find a way to get right back here or in this moment, in reality, and then work towards the best possible outcome. All you were doing when you were being anxious is you were just walking the wrong way. Your mind was in the wrong direction. It was over here when you wanted to be over here. And it was essentially using this big prefrontal cortex, improperly. All you have to do, with no blame or shame, because there's no instruction manual. No one teaches us how to human. We're not like, you don't just born and you're like, oh yeah, this is how you use your brain and this is how you do everything with. No one's, at least in the Western society in the United States, they don't teach you that. So it's no blame, no shame, nothing wrong with that. Just the most loving and gentle thing you can do with yourself is be like, okay, that anxiety, that's made up. That's not happening in this moment. Let's return to center and work towards the best possible outcome. So I hope this helped a lot of people. I hope this helped anyone listening and anyone who will listen. Have a wonderful day to whoever did, and best of luck out there.